The wait is almost over. Zendikar Rising it's here in about a gigabyte's worth of download time. For those of you that don't know, or you're relatively new to Magic, rotation happens in Standard quite regularly. Every so often, well, at a defined point, a new set comes out that pushes out older sets. So we're losing War of the Spark right now, which has some of the most obnoxious cards in the history of Magic that have been banned in multiple formats, or at least oppressively dominated multiple formats, but less of that. That's gone now, and we have the moving into the bright new future of Magic the Gathering. Every rotation, I spend some money on Arena. $50, $100, $150 sometimes, because, well, I make Magic content for a living, whether that be on Arena or on Modo or in paper or talking head videos. I make several videos a week for my YouTube channel, and I stream at least once a week, sometimes multiple times a week as well. So it's justifiable for me. If this wasn't my job, I probably wouldn't spend that much money on Arena, because the Arena economy kind of fucking sucks. So normally I struggle a little bit with getting decks together at the beginning, even when I've cracked tons of packs, and I'm always wondering, is it because I've been inefficient with how I've cracked said packs? What I wanted to do this time was go for an actual objective sort of, not study as such, but like show you at home myself trying to build my first deck, a souped up, rared up deck for New Standard. So I pre-ordered 50 packs, as you can see here. I've been given my pre-order redeemed. I got some Zendikar basics as part of that too. Card art style, cool. And I've not been given my rotation egg, as it were, the new cards, so that's helpful. I'm interjecting this here, but this actually happened after I'd finished the video and I was playing a little bit. I got my egg. I got a visual bug where you can just see my rank up experience or whatever, and then these things, which would have been helpful towards the deck construction. So actually, so in all fairness, it might cost us less packs to get to where we're going. But the egg launched later for some reason. God knows why. My vault opened up recently and gave me 2 rares and 3 mythic rare cards that I decided to keep as wildcards ready for this rotation. So they are there ready for the new deck. So here we have the deck that I want to build up and what I played in the pre-release event. This is Omnath Scoot Soup, or Scoot Daka Daka. I'll go through this deck a bit more in a video when I play it, which will be out later today or tomorrow. But essentially, I had a lot of fun playing this deck, and people are complaining that Lotus Cobra is broken, and, well, it's the first couple of weeks of Standard, so why would you not play the dumb shit that's broken, that might get banned later. So yeah, this is the deck I want to be on. Now, I wouldn't recommend anyone do this where they go straight in with a list that they want to build and try and get this many wild cards, because you might end up with a lot of cards, like for example this card here might not even deserve to be in the deck. You might end up wasting wildcards on cards you don't necessarily need. Post-rotation is a weird time in Magic the Gathering because you end up having to build new decks, you say goodbye to cards you love, but more importantly there is a financial investment. Like I said, I'm going to spend $50, $100, maybe $150 a day trying to see if I can build at least one deck. And I'm sure I should be able to build one deck and have some number of wildcards left over. Now, what would happen in paper Magic is that when you rotate, you've got a few options. You can sell your cards pre-rotation, you know, a few months out, even a month out, to people who are still grinding events when COVID's not happening, and try and get some money back that way. You can go on to play those cards, at least some of those cards, in Modern, Legacy, now in Pioneer, in Commander, put it in your cube. You can do all sorts of things with physical cards. And some cards become collector's items from their foilness and their prettiness as well. In Arena, cards become historically playable. That's one format, sure, but it pales in comparison. In other digital card games like Hearthstone, you can dust things to be able to get the dust ready for the new cards. You can erase old cards at a discounted rate to be able to change 2 old cards into 1 new card, for example. It's not exactly the rate of transference, but you get the idea. In Arena, there is no option to dust anything. Your cards rotate into historic, and that is it. You no longer get any value out of these cards if they are not historical playable, and they're gone. And that's kind of a problem. So that's why I want to spend the money, open the packs, and see if we get there today, because in reality, if you are spending $100 and still not getting a full deck that you want, that makes this not actually that much cheaper than playing paper Magic. Some standard decks can be up to $300, I know that, but still, surely the Arena client and the digital version should be somewhat cheaper? Perhaps? Well, this also highlights how Arena is not an emulation of Magic the Gathering. Now, for all its faults, for all the MTG finance world and the gatekeeping and the buyouts and the reserve lists and the Wizards of the Coast failing to reprint fetch lands, there is a benefit in having monetary value to your cards because you can sell out when you need to, where digital Magic, at least Arena Magic, doesn't have that. Magic the Gathering Online, which I also make videos about and use, because although it looks like a DOS program, it's still Magic being played through a thin veneer of shit, and even through a thin veneer of shit, Magic is still one of the greatest games in the world. world. But Magic the Gathering Online is an actual emulation of Magic, where you crack packs to get the cards hold value, they have rarities, you can trade them in and out. Again, pros and cons. Like, I can't get hold of half the Zendikar cards today, where I can log into Arena and craft them and have the cards immediately to play with. So as a content creator, there's an obvious benefit to Arena. That, and it doesn't look like a fucking turd. So my point is, this is not Magic in the strictest sense, because there are some clear downsides to rotation that are kind of offset and make Magic a little bit. And I never thought I'd say that. I've never been a big fan of Standard anyway because of the rotation model and how damaging it can be to the sort of like putting money into the game and losing said money. That said, when it comes to Wizards of the Coast, they want you to do that. The reason rotation exists is not only to keep a format fresh and interesting, and some people really love the competitive challenge of figuring out what to do with each standard rotation, but the other reason is to keep you buying packs, to keep you getting rares, chasing those rares, driving the economy and selling packs. And that's fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, I guess. Otherwise, Magic probably wouldn't survive. Wizards of the Coast wouldn't survive. So I'm not angry about that. But I think Arena kind of exasperates those issues with the economy and the rotation of standard formats. So, in order to be efficient, something I've learned is that we need to use this abundance of common and uncommon wildcards to craft all the common and uncommon cards from the new set when we start cracking boosters. What this does is it will give us more a fill towards extra wild cards. So this should make our pack opening more efficient. In order to do this, what I'm going to do is create a deck called Crafting. I'm just going to fill it full of all the commons and uncommons in this set, so we can use up all our commons and uncommons in our wild cards here, so that when we drop them in the pack, we get a better return on our investment. The reason we have to do this fucking nonsense is because there's no way to trade in these commons or uncommons that I'm mounting up here for rare or mythic rare. That's one of the answers to this whole conversation, is that they could easily allow us to have some way of trading up to get value out of this. According to some posts you see around the internet, the numbers vary. This post on Reddit here from Dan Lynch says that for every 100 uncommons you open, you get one rare or mythic. For every 300 commons you open, you get one rare or mythic. Essentially, vault progress. Or that's the equation of it. So this is why we're crafting all our commons and uncommons before we crack those packs. And hopefully, it means that we'll definitely get one deck out of it, and we'll see how many wild cards we have left once you've drafted or built that very, very rare heavy deck. The frustrating thing is that I'm having to go through and waste my time doing this, because there's not even a button to allow you to craft them all, because, well, I guess they don't want you to do that. Well, do they not want you to do this? Or they just don't care? It's not a thing that it's more of like a workaround in some ways, but it is definitely working towards making our bang for our buck go further. So, this is 744 cards, which means I think it's more than we've Now we've got 800 wildcards that have common and uncommon. We might miss out on a few, but I'm going to craft all of these now. Remember, I'm doing this to make every common and uncommon we open more valuable towards vault progress. To make it more efficient in terms of trying to get the most bang for our buck out of the packs that we open.
Failure.
We don't have enough wildcards to finish this. Fuck. So here I am removing fucking commons to try and get this thing to work. Let's try that. I've removed some commons. Nope, not enough. Fuck. Okay, there we go. 300 commons. 320 uncommons. Let's finish this deck of crafting. There we go. There we go. So to clarify, we're trying to finish this deck off here, which requires 28 wildcards to finish. Of course, we can open these cards in the new packs too. Bearing in mind that Terror of the Peaks will never be opened because it's an M21 card that I've never played with before, never crafted. And don't forget, I'm going into this with most stuff crafted already from older sets. We've got Uros, we've got Escape to the Wilds, we've got, well, Triomes. And that's the last point I want to make before we get into the actual pack openings, is that when you come to rotation, the mana base is rotating out. All the shock lands that just went from Ravnica is brutal. Because as much as I love the design of the new flip lands and the spell lands that flip into lands, I think that's great. Fantastic piece of design. I think it's really cool. It does mean you've got to craft more mana. And when you're building decks, you're going to need decent mana bases. Mana bases are the first hurdle to get over. It's why I shout about fetch lands for Eternal format so much. So here we're going to do this exercise to try and finish this deck, but I'm not going to even have the mana bases to play a blue-black deck, for example, or a bug deck, for example, a Sultai deck. It's frustrating. Mana bases are the biggest problem. Them still being at rare is the best way that they can sell packs to you. And one last point before we actually crack the packs is that if they just sold us wild cards, if they just sold us fucking wild cards, There's a load of ways they can fix this, and they don't seem to care because I guess if the system's making money, who gives a fuck? Okay, we'll start with our first 50. So what we're going to do is we're going to open 10 now, and we're going to play the game that the Professor plays called the Booster Box game, where we'll look at the monetary value of those 10 to see if we could buy another 10 by resale. So here we go. We're going to open 10 boosters, and we got 2 rare wildcards and an uncommon wildcard out of that. And we got a lot of mythics and rares too, none of which are for our deck, although I think I might play 1 Ancient Green Ward in the deck eventually. Resale value, 0. I know you can't sell the cards. That's kind of the point I'm getting at. So at that point, game over for the 10 booster game. Moving on, we open another 10, and we've got 2 more rare wildcards, and we've got nothing from our deck. I wonder if having the deck built in your deck bit informs the algorithm on what cards to get you. That's an interesting question, isn't it? Because I have no other Zendikar cards in any decks at the moment, just the ones that we wanted. Anyway, next lot, so 10 more rares. And we opened, oh, that was a good hit. Okay, we've got a mythic, 2 uncommons there from our like Vault Progress reward thing that rewards you for buying stuff. 1 rare and 2 mythic rare wildcards. This is the kind of thing you want. Wildcards are more valuable than the rest because they're whatever rare or mythic you want. We've got 1 Lotus Cobra. So so far we opened 1 rare in the deck we need. As you can see, buying singles is the way to go, my friends. Don't do this at home. Okay, we've got 1 Riverside Pathway and 2 more rares. So we're up to 9 rare wildcards. Don't forget we need to hit 28 if we don't hit the cards we need. And I guess we have hit, I don't know, 1 Riverside Pathway and 1 Lotus Cobra, so we're part way there. We have a Scoop Swarm there too. Another 10. Here we go. 2 more rares. Every 10 cards we open gets us 10 wild cards. That's basically a bargain. And then we've got 1 of the pathways we need. 2 of the pathways. No, that's not the pathway we need. That's the blue-black one. My bad. Okay, that's 50 boosters down. Let's see how closer we are to the deck. We have 1 Lotus Cobra, 1 Scoot Swarm. That's got 1 Riverside Pathway and 1 Branch Loft Pathway. Cool, cool. I'm now going to hit Craft All and see how closer we are. Oh, fuck it. I know I'm not... Just craft some of them? You piece of shit.
You didn't say the magic word.
And I guess we should craft the Terror of the Peaks because we're not going to open them. So using wildcards on those makes sense. I guess there's an argument for opening more packs before we do the wildcards, but in theory this should help us towards the progression of our vault, maybe. Not quite sure. We're not miles off after 50 packs, honestly. Can't craft that, I don't have mythics. Oh, the mythics are going to be a fucking... they're going to be a problem. Okay, let's craft some more of those. Cool. Craft that one. Cool. Those ones. Okay, we have 1 wildcard left in a play set of 4, so we need 3 more rare wildcards, which we will get on our next 50. And then we need to open these or make these, which I think we'll get on our next 50. So hopefully we should do it at the $50 mark. Let's find out. Now, 45 packs is 9,000 gems. 9,000 gems is basically $50. We're going to spend another $50 on Zendikar Rising to see if we can finish our deck. Don't question my life choices, okay? This is magic, boys and girls. If you like what I'm doing, don't do this at home. Obviously, I'll probably use your wildcards a bit more responsibly than I'm doing. But yeah, there's a link down below to my Patreon where you can get involved with my Discord server where we chat shit and help endorse me doing this fucking nonsense. So yeah. Thanks. It's so weird that it's 45 instead of 50, isn't it? It's so fucking strange. I guess I'm going to buy 5 packs at 100 gold, 1,000 gold each. And 45 of those. There we go. Thanks for the full art lands. Cool. Okay. 10 more. Here we go. We're going to get a mythic out of this at least. So we've got 2 mythics out of that. Sweet. And we got 1 of the rares we needed. So we're up to, we're only 1 or 2 rare wildcards away, honestly. With another 10 packs there. We didn't get the lands. Oh, we got 1 of the cards we needed. It might be that 70 boosters in, we've got the deck we need. Ooh. Chat, comment section, we got there. It took us 70 boosters and the drafting of every common and uncommon in the set already. And having access to Euros and stuff already. So I guess... effectively, $70 later, we have a fully functioning standard deck. I guess I'm going to open the other 30 boosters now, but that's cheaper than I expected. I thought we were going to have to spend at least $100 to get the rares. I mean, arguably, perhaps some might say this deck isn't... wow, it's almost exclusively rares, to be fair. And the mana base could be more rare lands. I'm playing quite a lot of basics in here because of the Harrow reprint, the 3 mana instant sack a land, search for 2 basics. I'm playing quite a few basics because of that. So I could go up a couple more non-basics perhaps, and maybe I will. But that was better than I expected. I have to be honest and say that's better than I expected. Let's open those last 30 boosters and then I guess hand off to you guys to see what you think. Our next 10 gives us a load more wildcards. Let's see what we've got left. Another mythic, another rare wildcard is good. We're getting all of this stuff. I don't even know which of these cards are useful, honestly. Only time will tell. There's our Shatter Skull Smashing that we didn't need. I guess arguably if we're only playing one elves, perhaps cracking these before spending our wildcards like I did would be more efficient. Tell me in the comment section below if there's something would have been more efficient. Like the whole draft from the commons and uncommons to max out our vault progress and stuff. That is something that I learned from the comment section of another video that I made. So I appreciate when people help me learn more about the hobby that I love. So we've opened 100 booster packs. Where does that lead us? Let's have a look. So we've got a 60 card deck of almost exclusively rares and mythics here in an Omnath Scoot Soup. And we've got ourselves 6 rare wild cards and 2 mythic rares. So if we're going to build another variant of Omnath or another rug deck, and don't forget I am playing a 4 colour deck, so that does affect the number of cards you might want, although like I said I'm playing more basics than perhaps I would in a non-avoiding regrowth deck. But if we're playing another deck in these colours, in the red, blue or green colours, we might be okay. But if we want to now build blue-black, or perhaps even mono-white with some of the mono-white stuff, or the white-black life game deck I played on the early access event as well, we might struggle. So we've opened 100 boosters, we've maxed out one of our decks, there's probably some rotation-proof decks we could play as well, but if you want to build another rare, heavy, red-black aggro deck, for example, or the Jeskai party deck that I played against in the early access event, if that's something that interests you, you're probably not going to be able to. But again, that's still cheaper than paper magic, honestly, so not so bad, not so bad. So I'm going to hand it off to you at this point. What do you think? Do you think this was a worthwhile exercise and a fun little look into the economy? Do you think that actually worked out cheaper than you expected? Do you think I was going to have to go to the next 50, like 150 boosters worth of Zendikar Rising to get there? Or do you think that was worth it? Let me know in the comment section below. There'll be some more Zendikar Rising Standard coming up, and then I'll be back into the historic, legacy, and modern stuff as the new cards become available on Modo. There'll be some more EDH and Chill coming up soon, so make sure you're subscribed for all that good shit. Support me on Patreon if you want to help make these videos, and I'll see you all soon. And don't forget, be good to one another, alright? Magic is our mutual hobby, so don't dunk on people on Twitter unnecessarily. Be friendly, be good, and stop complaining about Lotus Cobra until we've had at least a week or two to be fed up of Lotus Cobra. Ta-ta for now.